Good morning. Again, it's your brother, Mr. B. Today, I want to get back and talk about some principle of value. Just like I promised you in the last video, that I will go over some principle of value. How that happened. We know that to be somebody of value is not something that just happened overnight. It takes some time. As a matter of fact, it takes a lot of time. Not just time. It's what you do with those times, around those times, to be that person of value. One thing I want you to check or write down is passion. How do you cultivate that word, passion? Passion is something that you take a little bit more serious. When you have passion for something, you take it serious. You don't take that lightly because you love it. You have a deep feeling for it. So this is your life. For example, to be a CEO of a company, a lot of time we repeat that word. I just want to touch that. CEO means Chief Executive Officer. That is somebody valuable for that company. But before you be that CEO of a company, why don't you try to be the CEO of yourself? How do you manage yourself, your life, your activity, your daily routine? What do you do? Because a CEO is somebody valuable, like the most valuable person in the company is the CEO. So your life, you are the CEO of your life. You are the most valuable person for yourself. So how do you manage yourself? How do you set your life schedule? What do you do when you wake up? What do you do in the middle of your day? What do you do at the end of the day? And when you look back, you review that. Was it successful? Was it a good day? Where do you fail out? Where do you succeed at? What do you have to work on the next day? That's being the CEO of your life. You be on point. You know, you check yourself out. Do you do it right? That's kind of touch a little bit what I talked the last time. Discipline. Not just discipline though, self-discipline. A lot of time when we talk about discipline, we trying to put self-discipline in it. Because to be disciplined, first you need to be self-disciplined. How do you discipline yourself? A lot of time people misunderstood the word self-discipline. A lot of time people think, say good morning to people as usual, or do some simple tasks. They project themselves as disciplined, but discipline is not all that. Here's the schedule of your life. How you schedule yourself, how you follow through. Discipline is the follow through. When you check back on what you project, and when you do the check marks, everything is checked green. That means you have done what you said you wanted to get done. That's discipline. Discipline is not just, the regular thing. It's a lot. So it's very important to cultivate the self-discipline before you go to the larger part of it. So next thing is consistency. I touched on a little bit in my last video. Consistency is repeatedly. You cannot just do it today and expect it to happen at, the change have to happen tomorrow. No. It's a daily routine. It's a daily life. As Christian, I want to touch that because we love God. And God wants all of us to be succeed. God wants us to get to our destiny. But how we get there? It doesn't happen, you just wake up. Because what I really want to touch is I want you to compare your life with a bodybuilder life. The bodybuilder person, they have a busy life. They wake up every day and train themselves. They do that day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, to be that person, to be that bodybuilding person that they're looking at. So it's not just one day thing. And it's the same thing as your life as a Christian. You don't just wake up one day and sit down and pray and you expect God to work that miracle because you just pray that one day. And you go the next day and go back and do the silly thing that you used to do, that you usually do. It doesn't work that way. That's why we more focus on self-discipline. Discipline is a daily track, it's a daily activity. You have to keep track of that. And that's what I really want to talk most likely, mostly when I get a chance to be on that mic, I want to touch self-discipline. To me, that's the damage we have in this world right now. People are not disciplined. They want things to happen so quick. They just, it happened. No, it doesn't happen on the snap. It takes some time. And as a matter of fact, it takes a lot of time. And I'll say it again, it doesn't take just time. It takes discipline and effort and hard work. 1 Kings 2, verse 3. Observe what the Lord, your God, requires. Walk in his ways and keep his decrees and commands, his laws and requirements, as writing in the law of Moses, so that you may prosper in all you do and with wherever you go. That's an amazing passage. It is a promise. God promised us to be great. And we know God never lies. He wants us to be great. He wants us to be valuable. He wants us to be followed. He wants us to be the leader for this world. What are you doing? If you believe in him, if you have this passion inside of you, what are you waiting for? Skip it on. You're waking up every day, you give yourself a daily routine, you want to pray every morning, keep on doing it. And make sure you learn about prayer, what it's like. How do you do that? You want to give yourself a prayer life, you must learn about prayer. How do you get that done? How do you do it? Because everything in this life has its principles. How you do it, when you do it, and you keep on doing that until you see result. Never stop until you see result. You may have a losing weight program you're working on. It takes months. When you look at yourself, when you get on the scales, nothing changed. Never quit. Don't stop. Keep doing it until you see result. Maybe you might have to change the way you're doing it. Because sometimes you may be doing it all wrong and you want result. But the idea here, the goal is never stop. Maybe you have to check how you do it. The Lord told to Joshua, have to keep the book of law in his mouth so he can see good success. You know? He said, never give up on that book until you see good success. You see that word? Until you see good success. That's exactly linked to what I just told you. You never give up until you see result. Because the principle of life is consistency. Is keep on doing it. Never stop. Stopping is not an option. Believe me. Stopping is not an option. You must keep on going. It's simple as that. It's hard. It's tough. It's takes a lot to keep on going. Believe me. It takes a lot to keep on going. Because people around you, they're giving you every reason to stop. They make fun of you. They're actually telling you what you're doing is all wrong. It's not good. You actually not gonna see nothing out of it. So they give you reason to stop. So if you wanna follow them and let them be the CEO of your life, listen to them. But if you be the CEO of yourself, you follow through. You will be the CEO of the company that you never dream of. Because I don't know if that's related, but I want to share that with you a little bit. There's a difference between a product and a name. For example, iPhone is a product, but Apple is the name. A lot of times we get ourselves confused. Are we buying the product or are we buying the name? This world turned us upside down. We never buy the product. We buy a name. You don't see it that way. So if you don't buy a product, you buy a name, so that means you can make your own product. I don't want to buy no name. I want to buy a product. So let's say Versace. That's a name. You know, yes, you be all dressed up, nice, fancy, expensive, but you all dressing with a name. That is a family name. So they combine the name and the product, making it a valuable thing. You can be that for yourself. You have a name, right? So that means you can be a product as well. So that's the idea. Life is not easy. It's hard. It's tough. Believe me, I know. I've been there. I am actually in it. I take it back. I don't want to say I've been there. I'm in it right now. I want you to join me. There's many seats in that bus. Just join in. We can face it together. God, the Lord our God, if He's not in the center of it, your work will be in vain. That's exactly what it does. We can't do it without Him. We can't make it without Him. But we must follow. We must understand a couple things. For example, before you get a car, first thing you want to do, I know, is learn how to drive. You must know how to drive before you get a car. I know some people just, they have the money to buy a car, they put it there until they know how to drive. I don't blame them. But the idea is, before you get any car, you must know how to drive. So that's pretty much the principle of God. To understand God. To know God. is the key. Because God has its principles. Like I said, everything in this life has principle. So God have its principles. So we must know its principles before we even get to him. So when we get to him now, we know more. See? Before you get a car, you must know how to drive. But once you finally get that car now, by driving that car on a daily basis, you master what we call the driving thing, and you become a wonderful driver. The best driver maybe people ever known. But you become that best of all is by having the car and learn the best of it. So that's the principle of God. You must know him a little bit. You must cultivate him. You must know those principles. Because nobody wake up just one day, hey, I want God, I want God. They must hear something. They hear something somewhere. They say, I want to know that God. I want to find out about that God. So you know a little bit. Then you bring yourself in. So once you bring yourself in now, you master. You learn. So you be that. You be the best of it. And God use you to your best potential. You know, he make you be that best of you. The best version of you. He bring that up. So as I promised, I was gonna go over principles of God. As I mentioned, it's not that simple as that. It takes consistency. It takes discipline. And most of all, it takes passion. And what did I say about passion? It's something we take more serious. If you take your life more seriously, have a bit of passion. Love it. Love everything you do. Do it with love, care, and never give up. Never give up.